Hey, my people, how's it going? This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast on December the 30th, 2024, last show of the 2024 season. What's going on, Coop and B?
What's going on?
Yeah,
Doing it early
Last
so
show
we
of the
can,
year, right? Last show
yeah,
of the year.
yeah.
last
Huh?
show of the year. That's it.
Well, the last day of the year tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, true
people
that.
will be
Yeah,
the people will be listening to this on New Year's Eve, maybe.
yep, yep.
he
So
said
yeah,
maybe.
thanks everybody for rocking with us another year. We're going into our sixth year of doing this show. All started at Brian's house, recording on the phone, on a card table to digital dashes now. So doing our thing. We'll see what we got in store for next year. But thanks for rocking with us. So just this week, pretty much NFL. We'll talk about this week past with the Monday game just going off right now. We'll talk about next week, some playoff scenarios. Then I got a hypothetical for the guys on regarding the NBA. So let's do it, man. Let's run it down, and then we'll get into like kind of playoff scenarios after this week done, and then we'll get to your thoughts on next week. So I'm gonna just run them straight down as I'm looking via Google search, starting with the Chiefs and the Steelers. Chiefs win 29-10. And pretty much smacked the Steelers. What y'all think about that game?
Well, Brian, you at KC. I took Pittsburgh to come with this one, but they didn't bring it. So what you think?
I mean, look, this is one of those things where I said until they lose, I can't not pick them, and that was the main reason. I thought Pittsburgh was going to do a little bit more, but Patrick Mahomes actually started to look like he's Patrick Mahomes. I will say again, the offense looks better with Hunt in the backfield than it does with Pacheco. The last 2 weeks, they've been forced to use Hunt as their main guy and use Pacheco as the off pace back, and it's just a better fit because Hunt is better between the tackles, whereas Pacheco needs to get the outside. Yeah, he's faster. Yeah, he's more dynamic, but you need to have that threat of running up the middle if you want to be able to get Mahomes to the outside. And I think it's opened up the offense. I think also they've been doing some things with like Xavier Worthy doing rushes and some other types of ways of putting a wrinkle in it. But I really do think that this team's offense looks better with Hunt in the backfield, and they got a little stagnant for the couple weeks where they had Pacheco doing the majority of the carries. Now, look, I'm looking at the stats right now. There was only 9 rushes for Hunt and 6 for Pacheco, but it's a matter of having him lined up in the backfield and giving that extra threat between the tackles for me. Look, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are bad, but they're starting to show some of the cracks of being a team that's a little bit too dependent on schemes and things going their way. But they played the best team in the AFC, or I should say the team with the best record, and they found out why. No big deal.
Yeah, I agree. The Chiefs' offense is looking better. I don't necessarily believe because it's Hunt. I just believe it's because of matchups. They couldn't run the ball against Pittsburgh, so both running backs, Pacheco and Hunt, were pretty ineffective. But they did do one thing, and that's attack relentlessly their DBs, especially Corey Trice or James Pierre. I mean, Mahomes was just on them. 38 attempts, 29 completions, 3 touchdowns, 320 yards. He just pretty much just beat them by himself. They didn't need to run the ball against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh really isn't known for offense or have a great offense. So they're not built to come back from behind. So once they got down, you kind of knew that game was over. I personally thought the reason why I picked Pittsburgh is I personally thought this would be the game they would, throw the kitchen sink at, put everything into it. And you're right. I didn't expect Mahomes to look like old Mahomes, but he did look like old Mahomes. The same, looked like he got somehow got healthier, and they look good. And they beat Pittsburgh, and they have 3 straight losses right now. They play Cincinnati next week, and this was the Pittsburgh Steelers I thought we were going to see during the season. I thought they were going to lose a lot of games. Obviously, they didn't. They're already a lock for the playoffs. But now, you don't want to go into the playoffs on a 3 or 4 game losing streak, and the Steelers could, or 4-game losing streak, and the Steelers could be doing that right now. But I don't think either of us would have been surprised if the Steelers, had won this game, but they didn't, and they got blew out, and they got outclassed by a lot by the Chiefs. So
yeah, and I said 4 weeks ago or 3, whatever it was, the week before, 3 weeks ago, that this could very well happen for the Steelers because their strength of schedule down the stretch, ending with one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now with Burrow and the Bengals this week, is brutal, right? Yep. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. They also had Buffalo, and then they get to finish off with Burrow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what. Then I mentioned that
it's
schedule.
Understandable that it happens. Of course, you don't want it to, but it's understandable.
Yeah, real talk.
Eagles. I'm sorry. Eagles was the other team they played and lost to.
GB, we'll move to Baltimore, Houston.
Let's do it. So you got the
Yeah.
Ravens win 31-2.
Yeah, we were both on this one. Like I said, Houston has been overvalued all year because of last season. They're not that good of a team. I said that at the beginning of the season. They're definitely not the same. Lamar only had to throw 15 times this game. They pretty much just punished them running the ball. Derrick Henry ran the ball 27 times for 147 yards. You just give the ball to him, and they were pretty much good. Houston couldn't do anything offensively, and they haven't been that good offensively this season, even when Stephon Diggs was healthy. They just haven't been the same team as last year. And Baltimore took care of business. And I hope Houston doesn't have to play Baltimore in the first round of playoffs. If they do, I can see the same type of score happening. They might score a touchdown, but I can still see them not scoring 10 points against Baltimore. Just a bad matchup. Lamar and Derrick Henry can do whatever they want against this team, and that's what they did.
Yeah, there's not much to say here. The better team won. We both knew that Lamar Jackson was going to be playing for the MVP. He looked like the MVP with almost 90 yards rushing and another 2 touchdowns in the air.
Yeah, only 4
yeah,
carries.
good.
You're right. He only had 4 carries.
Yeah, only 4
good.
carries. Yeah, 21 yards a carry. But the real story in this one obviously was just Derrick Henry just pounding the ball. When you get 5.5 yards every time the guy holds the rock, it's real easy to get first downs, run down the clock, make it a shorter game, which is what they did. They struck fast.
Thankfully.
And just took the Houston to town.
That game didn't need to be no longer. Man, that was boring. All right, so then you had the Seahawks and the Bears. Speaking of boring
I'm
games,
taking a pass on this one.
Yeah, 6-3 Seahawks
probably
win.
One of the worst football games played all season. Like, it was awful to watch.
They need to fire everybody on the Bears. Just forget the head coach. Everybody. Everybody. I mean, damn. Anybody that wears a logo on the sideline that's an adult.
They shouldn't fire. They shouldn't fire the punter, because that man got told he wasn't going to be needed this season.
Right.
And he's punting every 5 minutes.
Hey, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 7 punts, 327 yards. He had more yards punting than the offense had.
Easily.
Probably the MVP. Yeah.
So that's why they only lost by 3. All right. So
Caleb Williams only net 76 yards with 7 sacks for 46 yards.
That's all bad.
He's also climbing up the ladder for most sacks in the season. I don't think he's not gonna reach David Carr, but
hell no,
he's in the top 10 already.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It's top 10
Anytime
already.
you have to say David's Carr when you're comparing it to your quarterback, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's not usually for his good play, even though he had some. But yeah, so Chargers Patriots. Chargers win 40-7.
Oh, go ahead, take this one, Brian.
I don't want to say nothing. I want Glenn to talk.
Glenn actually gave Herbert his props.
I'm gonna give him all his props.
You got it when the dude's going with 40.
I'm always going to talk it. Now, they are playing the Patriots, who are not a good team, but this is what you're supposed to do as a team that's headed toward the playoffs. You're supposed to dominate these games. They did exactly what they were supposed to. Herbert looked good throwing the ball. McConkey, they could not. I don't know what they were doing.
Man.
They weren't doing anything, though. Like, he had 2 people on him. He's just running past them. Like, what are y'all doing? Did y'all talk about it during the week, or what's going on, bro? But yeah, they got cooked, and they should. The D line looked really good also. Mack and Bosa looked like Mack and Bosa. So I don't know if it's just because the Patriots or this is what they're building towards the playoffs. But I'm always keep it 100. I couldn't say nothing bad. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is they managed to run their exact same offense, even when they were just whooping them. They were still a rush first team. He only got 281 yards. I mean, it's effective with 3 touchdowns, but they ran for 147 yards 37 times. It was basically equal passes and rushes, which is exactly what Harbaugh has been known to do. And I thought it was good to keep the discipline. It was good to maintain the plan, because if you get off kilter and start trying to chuck the ball a whole bunch because you're ahead and want to run up the score, or whatever it is you want to do, it's hard to get back into playoff mode a week or 2 later. And they're definitely playing in week 1.
Yeah, Brian, that's a good point. I was going to bring that up. I said, if just count the running backs, it was 32 rushes. Just count the passes, 38 passes. Doesn't matter how well a Jim Harbaugh team is playing. He is not going to pass a whole lot more than he runs the ball. He's going to stick to his game plan. And you're right. That's exactly what they did. I did tell again, Herbert, I didn't watch the game, but I saw some highlights. He did do his thing. On the other hand, though, it's against New England. New England's a bad team. They did put a scare in the Bills, but that's a divisional game. You kind of expect that. But the Patriots are really, really bad, and that's why Gerard Mayo's job security is coming under pressure because they're not good offensively, defensively, they're nothing. I mean, so you're supposed to beat supposed to beat the Patriots. They did, and Chargers locked up a playoff spot with that win. So good for them in a rebuilding season. I mean, that's not easy to do. Not easy to do at all. Rebuild and still win, get in the playoffs.
Yep. Yep. So they got that win. It should. Next game, Broncos Bengals. Bengals win 30-24 in overtime.
Broncos should have had this game. In my opinion, they blew it. Burrow did what he had to do. Even though the kicker, I thought the kicker. I got a text message when the kicker missed that kick and what an OT or whatever, or in the game or whatever. And saying I think that dude's shaving points. Don't give him the ball back again to try to kick it. so the Bengals scored a touchdown in overtime to win the game. But it was an entertaining game. I didn't think it was going to be this entertaining. It was a lot of points, more points than I imagined. So it was good to watch for a little bit. But the better team ended up winning at the end.
Yeah. I don't take anything away from, Bo Nix, who had 3 touchdowns in the game. He did have a pick, and Joe Burrow, who would be the guy that I would give my game ball to, 412 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also won me 2 of 3 championships this past weekend in fantasy. So I really like the guy right now. But I mean, putting something on his back, if it wasn't for the fact that Lamar Jackson's having a better year this year than he did in his MVP last year, and Josh Allen is single-handedly doing everything, and they've got a lot of wins and one of the best teams in the league, you would have to talk about Joe Burrow as the MVP, because there is nothing going on with this team on the defensive side or really even on the offensive side to be able to sustain it. I mean, obviously Chase is great, Higgins is great, and Chase Brown has been good, but this offense is Burrow powered, and he's been so outstanding. It was fun to watch him and Bo Nix trade blows. You can kind of see that Bo Nix is going to have the reputation. I'm not saying he's going to necessarily turn into Joe Burrow, but have that reputation over the course of the next year as being one of the next to come up.
Yeah, I can see them saying that. I don't think so, but yeah, I can definitely see that. But with Bo Nix though, it's so drastic. When he has a clean pocket, he's 70% throwing the ball. When he has under pressure, he's 46% throwing the ball. So he's 2 totally different quarterbacks, with pressure and without pressure. Some people have a lower completion percentage or whatever when they're under pressure, but his is pretty drastic, 70-46. So, get some pressure on them. It might be, a short playoff stay for Denver. I'm not sure if they're in the playoffs. I think they are.
No, they need to
win next
on the
week.
Bubble. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to win.
All right.
Yeah. They have control of their own fate, though. They don't need losses. They have control of their own fate. We'll talk about it in a sec.
Oh, that's right. Yep, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Next
right.
up,
Cardinals Rams. Rams win 13-9.
Go ahead, B. I know we watched that game, Glenn. Go ahead, B.
What's to say? I mean, the Rams needed to win. I would have been nice to have seen them win a little bit more handy, but they needed to win. They've now clinched the West. I'm glad that they did that after I went out on a limb after I watched them beat the Vikings earlier this season, and said that that they were my team. They were 3rd at the time in the division. I said that they were going to win that division. There they are doing it. But the game itself was uninteresting, and nothing really to write home about. But glad they won.
Yeah. Look, Sean McVay is 12-3-1 against the spread against the Cardinals, so she always beat that team. I'm with you. That game was not interesting. It was kind of boring. A little action at the end. That's Julian. I still don't think that was a touchdown catch, but whatever, they called it. And hey, the Rams won. I mean, I don't have an opinion either way. Rams are the best team in division in the NFC West, if you ask me. And they won the division, and good for them.
Should be. Yep.
Should we be worried about Cooper Kupp though? For the last 2 weeks, he's all but not shown up. He had no targets, no receptions last week. He only had one catch this week. That's not who you need to be disappearing as you're going into a playoffs. But Puka Nacua has been awesome, 10 for 129. Yeah. But he only got 3 targets this week. He had none last week. He only had 1 reception. Yeah. I'm a little worried about what that means for their playoff ability, because if they're going to be a 21 or 24 or plus scoring team, they've got to get Cooper Kupp involved, because good defenses can figure out a way to slow down, not stop Puka Nacua.
Yeah, Cooper Cup, it seems like as soon as he got hurt after that Triple Crown year or whatever, that really great season, he hasn't been the same player. I mean, that just happens sometimes with players. I remember Jordy Nelson.
He was all the rest of the season. It's just been these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I think he's probably nicked up. To be perfectly honest with you, just because they don't say anything, sometimes these players are nicked up and they just don't talk about the injury. And I think he is. And it might take him a little longer now to recuperate from injuries than maybe, before when he was maybe a little bit younger and he was killing it. I still think he's a good receiver, but I don't think he's fully healthy. I think that's the only reason why his target's gone down and he hasn't been a part of the offense. That's just my personal opinion.
So,
but yeah, I agree. You're not going far with him without him. You're not going far without him. I agree.
Nah.
Word up. Next game, Cowboys, Eagles. Eagles destroyed the Cowboys 41-7.
That's what they're supposed to do.
I mean, Cooper Rush was. Oh, even Trey Lance got in the game. He threw a pass for a yard. But yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when you got Cooper Rush in the game. I mean, Cowboys just aren't.
Can we give Kenny? I mean, look, the Eagles had Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee as their quarterbacks in this game. Only threw for 197 yards. Still won 41-7.
Yeah, well, it was all Saquon Barkley. He was running his butt off the last couple of weeks, man.
31 carries.
He's going to end up getting hurt.
7 yards.
He's 100 yards. He's 100 yards to the record.
Yeah, but they had interceptions for touchdowns. They had fumble recoveries for touchdowns. I mean, they did it every which way, and they frankly embarrassed the Eagles. There's a lot of footage of Jerry Jones at the stadium where the Eagles fans were congratulating him on yet another impressive season.
That's funny,
which was pretty funny. But anyways,
I mean,
Saquon is the man.
Kenny Pickett only threw the ball 15 times. Tanner only threw the ball 4 times, and when they did throw the ball, they always tried to look for Devontae Smith. So, I mean, the game plan was simple. Just give the ball to Saquon Barkley, and then if you got to pass it, find Devontae Smith. And, that's what they did. Saquon Barkley powered them to a victory. But like you said, they had all the other stuff too. And Philly won.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it impressive, but they won.
They got smacked. That's a large score. Panthers get smoked by the Buccaneers also 14-48.
Nothing to say about the game. Tampa Bay's just a better team.
I'm surprised at that much scoring, but yep, the Panthers been playing pretty good right now.
Here's what I will
comes
say.
to an end.
Bryce Young 2.0 this season is a lot better than Bryce Young 1.0.
Yeah.
203 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, the team is nowhere near the class of Tampa Bay, but he still looked like a decent quarterback in spite of that situation after looking horrible at the beginning of the season and looking pretty good to finish it.
Yeah, I agree, but he needs a running game, so it's not too much pressure on him, and they couldn't run the ball against Tampa Bay, and that was their downfall. One running back had 8 rushes for 20 yards, another one 2 for 11, another one 2 for 8, one for nothing. So they couldn't run the ball, and that was their downfall against Tampa Bay. And
Blackshear is
Blackshear, yeah.
But I will say congratulations to Adam Thielen, especially since he was on 2 of my winning teams, for 5 receptions, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
I knew you were going to say something.
Great week.
I omitted that.
Great week.
Say something.
Great week. I was here with a buddy watching football, and I wish that he was still on the Vikings. There was no room for him with Jalen Naylor and Addison and Jefferson, but the guy still knows how to get open, and he had a great game at the perfect time for me.
Good for them
perfect
too.
time. You're right.
So next game, another blowout. Jets beat the Bills. Bills beat the Jets. Sorry, 14-40.
I nothing to say right here. I don't know. It's kind of funny to see Aaron Rodgers lose. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Not only did he lose, but he begged out of the damn game. So we talked about it just last week. I understand that he's likely to go to the Hall. But if he were anybody other than that, the guy that's all in the media, he would not be Hall of Fame. He's got one Super Bowl win, his big numbers, but this is the same guy. He's freaking horrible. The Jets are going to have their worst finish in the last 5 years with the Hall of Fame quarterback. Name somebody else who gets that pass. Flacco wouldn't.
The rest of the guys won.
Look, I'm not going to defend Aaron Rodgers. I don't like him like that. But you don't think his career stats gets him in? I mean, his career stats are.
Wait a minute. Remember what I said, Jason. He is going to get in. I just don't think he's that good.
I get you. Okay. I understand that. Okay.
I also think Brock Purdy's going to get $50 million a year. I don't think he's that. I just know he's going to get $50 million a year. Same with Rodgers going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's like Eli Manning. I don't think Eli Manning's that good either, and he's going to go. So.
Yeah.
Eli Manning has only won
Tyrod
playoffs
Taylor's
in 2 years.
quarterback rating is 131 in this game. He threw just as many passes, even though he only played one quarter, and Aaron Rodgers was 44.
GB, did you know that Eli Manning played 18 seasons in the NFL? He only won playoff games in 2 years. The ones he won Super Bowls.
I didn't realize he played 18 years. I remember being there a long time, but I didn't realize it was that long. Damn.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
All right.
All
Moving
on. Colts lose to the Giants 33-45, and Giants jump out of that one of them top 2 spots. Drew Lock's amazing performance.
Who's the top pick now in the draft?
I think it's.
I thought it was still the Giants because you guys keep winning.
No. I was just looking at this. It was the Patriots and.
Okay, Patriots. Okay.
Patriots, Titans, Cleveland.
Patriots are 1. And
Patriots, Titans, Cleveland, New York, Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah. So they had Statue playing quarterback for Indianapolis, Joe Flacco, and then they made Drew Lock look like a superstar. And Neighbors is a really good receiver. It's sad he doesn't have a quarterback to play with, but Neighbors is good. But man, the Giants putting up 45 points. I didn't think that was even possible. I still don't know how that happened, but it did.
I was telling Glenn before we started, when you go out there and the whole week it was, the Giants are now have the number 1 pick and they're definitely going to pick a quarterback and they're definitely going to clear house. Drew Lock was like, hold on one moment. He went and dusted off whatever bag of tricks and made whatever deal with the devil, threw for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. And but like you said, put 45 points up. And it was all in the air because he only had 80 rushing yards, 59 from Tracy and 21 from Singletary. So no one was outstanding. As a matter of fact, Tracy had 20 carries to get 59 yards and only averaging 3. It was an impressive performance, but sometimes that happens. These guys are still professionals. They still wake up every morning and read the press and go in there and get ready.
They do read the press. They say they don't. You're right. They do.
They also need other jobs. You can audition and show you can still play.
I'm actually kicking myself for not betting this game. The only reason why I was going to bet on the Giants, they were getting 9 points at home from Indianapolis. That spread didn't make any type of sense. So, but anyway, I didn't do it. Giants won. Moving on.
Giants win. All right, next game. Raiders beat the Saints 25-10.
So I was on the Saints only because, I'm like Brian. I thought you guys just wanted to lose. Players don't think
tank,
like
bro.
that. They don't think
neither
like
the
that.
Coaches coaching for their job.
And coaches coach for a job don't think like that too. So we both agreed that the Raiders were the better team, but maybe they were going to, call off the dogs or take their foot off the gas or whatever and let New Orleans win. They didn't. So good for the Raiders. I mean, they were favored on the road for, by 1 point, but still they were favored to beat New Orleans. They were the better team and they won the game. I mean, good for them. Where does that fall now? But 7th or 8th now in the draft?
8th.
Okay. Yeah. So good one for them. I don't think
I continue to love watching Brock Bowers play. He's really good. If he played wide receiver, I would be equally as impressed. But as a tight end, he's even more impressive.
Yeah, he's gonna be around for a minute. Long time.
I don't, like you guys said, anybody talking about tanking, it's like ain't nobody that's going to be on the field tanking because again, everybody here is not signed. Most of our guys, we have 27 first or second year players playing right now, starting. No. So of the 53, half are first or second year players, which I think for them to even be playing like they're playing, trying, shows some form of development, right? Because it'd be easy to ship it in or worry about next year. And everybody's playing for their job. So I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm going to that Charger game this week too, and I think we may win that game, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. My main thing is like I keep harping on the Dan Campbell train because it's a very similar situation. Former player, first 2 years we're pretty bad. They lost like the most games in the league or were up there.
Remember, he was coaching Miami first, and he wasn't any good.
Well,
coaching Miami.
Well, right now I'd have to say he's at least his staff is somewhat good. We ain't gonna say he's good because they destroying teams. So I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen. I'm just saying there's some form of path that you could see where this does happen, where you don't just fire a coach every 2 years, every year, hoping for the next guy to come in. I'm hearing Vrabel. I'm hearing, anyone you want to throw out. That's great. But, it doesn't always line up. So we'll see.
The one thing I will say that makes a big difference was that for Dan Campbell, when the team was struggling, his players were still just loud about how much they liked him, how they came out for him. If AP gets the same kind of support from his players, it'll be easier for him to get another year.
I think it's different. Definitely. Detroit drafted really well.
That might have the impact of results. I'm talking about him keeping his job.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm just saying.
I got you. Okay.
Dan Campbell, when they were poor, when they were playing poorly, the players were still like, no, he's our guy. He's great.
Oh, they're still playing now.
Locker room. So, and that's what bought him years 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And now he's great. Now. He's got a job.
The potential's there. I mean, like I said, if you got 27 first or second year players, and them cats are developing and looking solid. Brock Bowers, doing all the stuff he's doing with no quarterback by everybody's admonition, still pretty serious. We got like rookies all across the lines. Like, well, 2 of our starters on the O-line are rooks. Like they're doing all right to be where they're at.
I said when he got drafted that he was going to be a talent. There are some players who are receivers who will still put up numbers, not great numbers if they don't have a quarterback. They can still put up numbers.
Great numbers.
Guys who I think like Brock Bowers. I think of Chris Carter. I think of the main guy, Larry Fitzgerald, who's played with nothing but bad quarterbacks except Kurt Warner, and he still was putting up numbers. It's not great numbers, but they can still put them up. But you got to be a special talent, and Brock Bowers is one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And I work for a woodworking company as a director of sales, so I'm not in any kind of sports, which is good. I don't need to be in the building because you'd be getting people fired and moved on to because of how you feel. There's a lot of people in scouting departments and coaching who know a lot more than me, so I'm gonna just leave it there. But our last couple drafts have been all right because a lot of guys you're seeing are from cats that were drafted. So we'll see what happens. Titans, Jaguars. Titans lose another game. Jaguars win. Meh.
I think everyone wanted to lose this game, and someone felt like they had to win. I mean, neither team played well in any way, shape, or form. And I just I really honestly feel like Jacksonville made the mistake of throwing the last touchdown. That's the way I feel like
man.
Yeah.
Tennessee
you're bad.
Tennessee is 2-15 against the spread this year. I feel bad for anybody who's been betting on them this year. You've lost pretty much every single week.
I don't think anyone
should know
man.
better than that. Plus they had high picks before. Titans and Jags both had high picks in the last few years, and they're right back to it. So I don't know. Everybody's clamoring for, if you're a bad team trying to get that top 3 pick, top 4 pick. It kind of be the same. Like if you're bad enough to get that pick, you usually don't change your fortunes the next year.
Well, I guess we'll talk about the draft later, but in this draft, there's no difference from the 6th pick to the 16th, to be perfectly honest with you. So you can draft 8th and still get a guy that probably should have been top 6. But yeah,
and that's what they're scouting, right? There's a lot of guys who get picked up in other positions and make impacts, but again, like everybody talking about trying to get the first pick or second, like bro, you don't know. On any year,
it don't matter.
That's the only on any year. The only thing you get for having the first pick is having to pay them more.
Right.
Yeah. And scrutiny.
And it better be a generational talent if
exactly
this year.
Exactly.
It better be a generational
Sometimes there's real talent.
But scrutiny.
This ain't the draft for that.
Well, it depends, right? Because I look at these guys now who are, some of these top QBs with Bradford over there with the Vikes and with
Bradford. You mean Darnold?
Darnold, sorry, Sam.
Not floppy sleeves.
Yeah,
floppy sleeves. Sam
well, they're
Darnold.
saying, given the success of Geno Smith, which I know Coop disagrees with, but now Darnold. Someone needs to give Zach Wilson a second chance. I'm like, I don't know.
But yeah, you could say what you want about the Steelers, but they're still winning. And then they didn't look great this week, but even Russell was looking pretty good in some of those games. He didn't look great this week, but it's, everybody's on the rookies and getting drafts. A lot of these teams have drafted top QBs. They are either on a different team playing well or they're gone anyway. So,
well, Brian, I'd rather have Geno start for my team than one of these rookies coming out. I'd rather have him start.
100%.
100%. I don't think very highly of Geno, but I would definitely have him start over Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward for a year. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If I were a team with a top 15 draft pick that didn't want to draft one of these quarterbacks, I would call the Vikings and say, I'm pretty sure you're going to keep Darnold. So what can I give you for JJ? Because JJ looked good until he got hurt.
7th round pick. So 7th round pick. Yeah,
third, the only thing that would take is a first, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Late.
Indeed. Dolphins, Browns, another similar situation. The other one, Dolphins win 20-3.
I got nothing to say on this.
Yeah, this was one of those obvious ones. So I was remarking to my friend who was over watching football on Sunday. There was all the day games, games during the day on Saturday. There was only one matchup that had 2 winning teams, and we're probably talking about that next. So all of these games were just, can we get through them? But this was another one where I think it was pretty obvious that the Dolphins didn't have much to do, much to sweat about. Really, the only thing that people were hoping was for big games from their fantasy players, which no one really got.
Yeah, Cleveland has a quarterback, Dorian Thompson, that shouldn't be starting in the NFL. He threw the ball 47 times, only for 170 yards. I mean, Just wasn't good.
I wasn't paying attention to it.
24 completions. It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah.
Next game, Packers Vikings. Packers lose 25-27 as the Vikes pull it
It was a
out.
good game. Go
But
ahead.
the Vikings were rolling. It got close at the end from what I saw.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch the whole game.
It's this look. If you watch the first game this season, it was a repeat of the same thing.
Mhm.
We ran out early. You know, people were sitting there talking about, oh, they got this. They're gonna break out. And the whole time, even into the third quarter when they scored that next touchdown, I'm like, everyone slow down. I've watched this game before. By the way, the ending score was a 2-point spread earlier in the season. It's a 2-point spread this time. Holding on for dear life at the end of the game. I told everybody that I was picking the Vikings because I'm a fan, not because I necessarily thought that this was going to be a definitive win. It was a 1.5 point spread, so Vegas gets it right again. But the Packers are really good. I mean, their only losses are to the Eagles, the Vikings, and Detroit. That's all the only teams the three teams with the best records in the NFC are the only teams that the Packers have lost to, and they lose by 2 points on the road. This was a fun game to watch because obviously we came out a little stressful because we are the cardiac kids, so we had to go and run up a nice lead and only to give it all away and make me worry that we were going to give up the game. Sam Darnold was awesome. I mean, he hit some passes in there that just defy logic. Sometimes he threw into a seam of two DBs coming in on one wide receiver, and he threaded the needle. It's impressive. I don't know what else to say. I'm a little late, but I'm starting to look at the bandwagon. I haven't jumped on it yet, but I'm starting to look at the bandwagon.
This guy,
Oh,
you be way too
I'm
cautious,
wrong.
man.
Come on, man. You're
It's
on
the
it.
same thing.
Right.
No, look.
Teams
here's my
lose
problem
whether you're
with
on the bandwagon or not. Rep.
Yeah, well, I do. That's why I picked them. But the thing with the Vikings is they settle for too many field goals. They settled for three field goals. They missed 2 that should have never have been field goal kicks. They had 2 minutes left in the going down the field. They got to the 40-yard line, the Packer 40-yard line with 1 minute and 37 seconds left, and got 4 more yards and only 3 more plays in 1.5 minutes with 2 timeouts left. You cannot do that. I turned to the person I was watching the game with there, and I said, they're already playing for a field goal when they had just gone from the 35, I think it was, or 30 to the other 40 in less than 15 seconds of playtime, and then just decided that they were going to kick a field goal. And guess what? Missed. You just can't settle for field goals against these really good playoff teams. That is how you lose games. And I'm so worried that they're going to do that same thing where you kick 3 field goals, miss 2 against a team like, the Detroit Lions or Philadelphia or even the Packers, and you're going to lose that game. And I can't get past. It's happened all season long. It's happened consistently. I've been saying it on this show that there's something about that offense that it's hard to trust. And it's not Darnold's play. It's the play calling. It gets real conservative at times, and it's a problem. It's a worry. I shouldn't say it's a problem. You can't say it's a problem when they're 14-2. It's a worry.
I picked Green Bay this game, but you're right. When I watched this game, it was exactly like the first game.
Same.
It jumped out big lead, and then Green Bay stormed back, and Minnesota held on. I mean, it's good, really good win. Minnesota's better at home than they're on the road, but I mean, this was a big win for Minnesota. I mean, a really big one. They swept the season series from Green Bay, and that's important. Green Bay to me is still a good team, but Minnesota seems to have their number in close games this year. So it's a good win. Good win for Minnesota.
Yep. All right. And then this game was pretty good too. Falcons Commanders. Commanders win 30-24 in overtime.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a really important game too. So
yeah, Atlanta had a 17-7 lead at halftime. You thought they were going to pull away and win this game, but
no, I didn't.
Washington came back. Raheem Morris made some questionable decisions, in my opinion. I know it was like late in the game. I think it was like 2nd and 24 or something like that. And he gave the ball to to Brian Robinson. I mean, this is why you start Penix. You start Penix to see what he can do. You give him the ball in that situation. You're going to ride him. You can't play Kirk Cousins anymore. Let him see what he's going to do. Eventually end up scoring a touchdown anyway and send the game to overtime. But I figured when the game went overtime that Washington would win the game, and they did. JD, I mean, he's doing this thing. He's winning these games, building his confidence. I mean, I know it's building the Washington team's confidence. I know they believe in him. You could tell they believe in him, which is the most important thing for a quarterback. You can have stats, you can have an arm, you can have all that stuff. If your teammates don't believe in you, you're not going to be that successful. It looks like he's on the right path. The teammates believe in him. They always feel they got a chance. Another good win for Washington. Good win for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never worried even when Atlanta got up quickly, because I just figured that Jaden Daniels at this point, I like Penix. I think he can be very good, but it's his second start. Whereas Jaden Daniels has been doing this all season long, 350 total yards when you count the 127 rushing on top of the 227 passing. There's just something about Jaden Daniels that it's an it factor. And that's the reason why you had confidence that they were the better team and would find a way to win, and they did.
Yep. Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. And then the last game, Monday night, Lions at 49ers. Lions win 40-34.
I'm going to go back one more thing. Michael Penix is playing like he's got his second start. If he got a full season, I feel like he would be in this in the Bo Nix conversation, about being a good rookie. But anyways, sorry, go on.
Yeah, this game, look, we all knew who was the better team, Detroit. But what was funny to me, just not funny, but watching this game, Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers have to scheme their players open. They have to do misdirection, fakes. They got to do a whole lot of stuff to get guys open so Purdy can throw them the ball. Detroit just has to get their guys in space, because all those guys on Detroit's offense are faster than everybody on the 49ers defense. And it showed all game. They had a much easier time moving the ball up and down the field. And of course, the 49ers, no pressure on Goff. There was no pressure on him. He never felt uncomfortable all game. You're going to give Goff that kind of time. I saw him when he was with the Rams. You give him that kind of time, he's eventually going to pick you apart. Of course, I've always said they have the best offensive line in football, but even those guys were hard to tackle. The Gibbs guy, he was just hard to tackle. He would fall forward and get a couple extra yards, even when they tried to gang tackle him. The Detroit offense all around, man for man, it was just better than the 49ers defense. And the 49ers are, of course, they're missing a lot of players, offensive line, Trent Williams, running back, whatever, wide receiver. But the 49ers had to play perfect to win this game. And when Brock Purdy threw one interception and a couple drives later threw another interception, you kind of knew that. I kind of knew the game was over after that first interception, because the 49ers aren't the kind of team that can make mistakes and still win this game. They would have to play a perfect game, and they didn't. Once that second interception hit, I pretty much was like, I text you guys, like, we can start the podcast once I saw the second interception, because I knew it was over. Now, they only lost by 6, but to me, the score was a little bit bigger than that after that second interception. Detroit, I mean, good win for them. I know, Brian, you had text that they didn't have to win this game, but like we all discussed earlier, players don't think like that. This ain't the NBA.
It wasn't a matter of.
Oh, no, I know you weren't thinking like that, but I didn't think about what you just said, and technically it's true. But NBA players, they'll tell you they give up a playoff game on the road if they're up 2-0. NFL players don't give up no games, none. And Detroit ended up winning this game, and they kept pace with Minnesota.
Niners put up a lot of yards.
Man, another thing, I hate our kicker. I think I told you guys that already. I don't watch his field goals. He missed another 2 field goals this game.
He moody, yo.
Yeah, he real moody. But yeah, field goals miss. And also, I'm sorry, Brian, I meant to let you go. Another thing, it's always concerned. This has been happening all season. This was late in the first half. 49ers were driving. They had a big 4th down stop. They're driving down the field. Throws a pass to Kittle. I think they get to the 5-yard line or 10-yard line or something like that. It gets called back by a penalty, like an illegal pick or whatever. And then they end up selling for that 51-yard field goal. And then,
I've been there.
They miss it. So it's like, that's been happening with the 49ers all season. It just hasn't been buttoned up. It's always something killing the drive, putting us in a bad situation. And, like I said, we don't need to win the games. Don't need to go to the playoffs. Just need to, kind of start over, rebuild offensive and defensive lines and try to get some younger players, because the season has been over. All right, go ahead, B. Hate our kicker.
Yeah, I'm starting off with the whole thing about the Detroit Lions. The question was whether or not they would sit players because they wanted to get healthy. Because no matter what, whether they win or they lose, the only thing that matters is winning next week as far as getting the 1 seed. knowing Dan Campbell, who's been a big gambler the entire season, it totally makes sense that he wants to win the division, have a great record, go up with his team up, and they played the full game. The 49ers were actually kind of impressive. I didn't think that they were even going to be able, if Detroit Lions played everybody, I didn't think that the 49ers had it in them to even hold up to or stay close to the Lions. So it was impressive. I have no idea what you all are going to do at wide receiver, because Deebo Samuel looks burnt, and Ricky Pearsall all of a sudden looks like he could be a top 2 or 3 wide receiver on your team.
Debo's gone.
Yeah, Ricky and Ayuk.
Debo's gone. I've always said that.
But Ricky Pearsall with 141 yards. This is the same guy bleeding on pavement just a few months back.
Yeah, man wanted to keep his watch.
3 months ago.
He wanted to keep his watch. He wanted to keep the rollie.
He's like, it's my time to shine. He's got his little rollie though. Anyways, but look, I was impressed to see the 49ers hang with the Lions team, because the Lions didn't look like they were playing, different offenses or whatever. They weren't worried about film because, the 49ers are not going to be in the playoffs. They just went out there and played their game, and the 49ers were able to keep up with them, which shows that there's still something about this team that should give you
veteran pride.
But I think you can take some of the pieces of this team and make yourself a contender again, not a contender, a playoff team again next season, minus a few injuries.
I need a lot of changes. But I'm with you.
But the Detroit Lions and the Raiders, by the way, lead the league with week 1 starters who are now on IR.
Don't I know?
31.8% of their week 1 starters.
Like I was saying,
that's crazy, and they're still the.
Well, remember I told you Detroit drafted well. Look at their depth. I mean, they're still winning games. So drafting well helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but Glenn, I don't want to go back. How do you feel about Tom Telesco?
I think this last draft was solid.
Oh, okay.
There's rookies that are starting right now that are given solid minutes. It's just the team wasn't. I don't think the team was good enough, and we're in flux to lose that many players. It's different when you have a Lions. You built the culture. You got a lot more that you can lean on. For us, we had too many guys that went out for when you're trying to build. So we'll see. We'll see if we get people back healthy next year. But I think he drafted well, and hey, I'm rocking with him, man. And Tom, we trust. So we'll see what happens. All right. So playoff scenarios right now. You were just mentioning the Lions. So let's go with the East right now. The NFC. You got the Lions in the first spot right now, barring next week's game with the Vikings. You got the Eagles number 2, the LA Rams number 3. Right now, the Vikings are 5, Commanders are 6, and Packers are 7. With the Buccaneers on the outside, but they should have a chance.
The Buccaneers win, they're in.
Yeah, because they should win their division. Wait, where's their division represented?
They got to play New Orleans though, right?
Yep, they play New Orleans and they win, they're in. Atlanta does not get in. They're locked in the 4th spot right now, Tampa Bay.
Sorry. Yeah. You're right. Tampa Bay's in the 4th spot, depending on, like you said, they got to win. That's so excuse me on that. So Lions, Eagles, Rams, Buccaneers, Vikings, Commanders, Packers right now. Vikings and Lions could flip flop. Interesting though. Yeah. Brian's division, almost the entire division's in the damn.
Except the team
playoffs.
I picked to go. Yeah.
Except for you're the one you picked to win it.
I picked it.
It's going to be close on my side too, depending on if the Broncos can win. But yeah, so with that current seeding, thoughts are, it's probably who should be in there, honestly.
Yeah,
I think that somebody is probably the Vikings, because as the 5th seed, they would go play the 4th seed, which will either be Tampa Bay or Atlanta. You have to think that they would rather go play an Atlanta team that they smoked, even with Cousins, over a Tampa Bay team, which they beat. But Tampa Bay is a very dynamic offense that can get real hot in a hurry. And
they have to go to Tampa Bay, right?
And they have to go, they have to go either to Atlanta or Tampa Bay if they're the 5th seed.
You want to go
Tampa
to
Bay
Atlanta.
is a much scarier team.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a much scarier team than the Atlanta Falcons. It's just is. So, I know that the Lions fans and the Vikings fans are going to be rooting for New Orleans pretty heavily this weekend.
Yeah, I don't have a rooting interest, of course, but the way the NFC is set up right now, with Minnesota playing Tampa Bay, Washington playing the Rams, and Green Bay playing Philly, I want it to stay just like it is. I would love to watch all three of those games.
I
I like
think,
it.
I mean, that Lions Vikings game is big because they win. All this is out of there, and now the Lions, who you definitely don't want to see come into either place.
Can I say this too? And I'm not making any type of a prediction. We'll talk more about that when we get there. But if that stands up the way it is, I could see the 5th, 6th, and 7th teams all going on the road and winning each of those games.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
I
That's
can
why
see
I
the
want to stay
Packers
the way
beating
it
the
is.
Eagles. I can see the Commanders beating the Rams, and I can see the Vikings beating the Bucks. I'm not saying any of them are definitive.
Yeah.
It's there's enough of a bunch.
Fair matchup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. That this year's been like that though. Like no,
It
a
has
few
been.
teams have been really good, but nobody even, beyond the teams who are just destroying everybody, everybody's kind of fluctuated. So it's been a good year to be in the pack because you have a chance to get in there.
Now,
AFC, go ahead.
now the AFC, Glenn,
So
I
you
want
got.
I want I want a reseed.
Let me lay it out for you now.
I'm
You
not
got
a
the
reseed.
you got the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, the Steelers, the Chargers. The Broncos are right now. I think the Broncos need to win.
Yeah.
But depending on what happens, I think them and the Chargers could be in the same record, but I don't know who holds a tiebreaker.
I think the
They
Chargers do. I think they're told
the
the tiebreaker.
Bengals could get
Yeah.
in, but they need everybody to lose kind of thing, and then they need to
Yeah.
Well, they
win.
need the Broncos and the Dolphins to lose on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way the matchups right now, Pittsburgh's playing Houston. That's boring. The Chargers are playing Baltimore. That's a skate for Baltimore. And then Denver and Buffalo. It may sound good, but Buffalo's a better team. I would definitely like a reseed
It
for
don't
the
sound
AFC.
good. They're definitely
well,
getting smoked.
here's the thing. If you're Buffalo, you really, really want it to be Denver.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to get stuck in a first-round battle with Joe Burrow playing the way he's playing right now.
Yeah.
He'll run
The
it up on
Bengals
you.
are one of the hottest teams in the league right now when it comes to offense and being able to throw up numbers. I think Denver's a very solid team. I think Miami is there in a wing and a prayer. And I think the Bengals could make noise if they actually get into the playoffs. Now,
I hope they do.
Buffalo's clearly better than any of those teams, but you never say never.
Yeah.
What's guaranteed in the AFC is that Baltimore is getting out of the first round. That's just guaranteed. Whether they play the Chargers, Pittsburgh, Houston.
So the brothers are going to play each other twice in the season, and you're guaranteeing. I think so too. I just wouldn't go as far as guaranteeing. You play your brother twice. Someone throws the right haymaker.
He's
Man,
played him before.
he ain't beat his brother ever. I know personally.
He played him before, yeah. And that Ravens team is
Big
better
Bro
than that
got
Chargers
the
team.
advantage there.
Man.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. So that's how the playoffs line up. So let's go to this week's games. We're just gonna run them down.
What we think the outcomes will be.
We're gonna run them down. Browns at Ravens on Saturday.
Baltimore. Moving on. No, I take Baltimore.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Bengals at Steelers Saturday.
All right,
evening.
who you got, Brian? This one, you got a bad defense favored on the road against Pittsburgh.
Look, I'm rocking with the Bengals. I do not think the Steelers are a bad team. I think that they have some things going on at the same time. They have one of the hardest strength of schedules coming down the stretch. They get the Bengals, who are one of the hottest teams in the AFC right now. I'm going to take Cincinnati. They're favored by 1.5 points on the road. It's the right situation for the Bengals to go in there and win this game.
Yeah, Pittsburgh banked wins in the beginning of the season, which they should have to get them in the playoffs. They're not banking wins now. Cincinnati is 7-1 against the spread on the road. I'm taking Cincinnati.
All right. And then you got the Panthers at the Falcons on Sunday.
I think the luster of the Carolina Panthers kind of worn off with Bryce Young because they're kind of ineffective on offense, but he's doing enough to keep them close enough in games, except for last week. Okay. I don't think Atlanta will cover the 9-point spread. I would never tell Penix to cover that, but I think Atlanta wins, but it's a closer game and a better game than people think.
B?
Yeah, I think the Falcons win, and I think they're just kind of waiting and dependent on what happens to New Orleans
later on. Yep. Texans at Titans Sunday.
Who cares?
All right.
Next,
the Texans are the Texans might play at least half this game just so they don't look bad losing. But Tennessee is favored, which tells me that they don't believe that Texans are going to play very much.
Oh,
I will say that just for the grins and giggles, I'll say the Titans probably win this game. I don't think the Texans are going to take it very seriously.
Yeah, I just looked at the spread. I see pick on mine, but also see -1 as well. So yeah, just because of that, I'll take Tennessee.
I think, and I think their
But
whole
I'm not
division,
watching.
their whole
Yeah.
division is already eliminated, so it don't even matter.
Yeah, that's
all right.
exactly right.
So the next game, Giants at Eagles.
I'm not taking the Giants. Are you?
Drew Lock have another performance.
It's
like
only
that?
a 2.5-point spread, though.
But here's the Eagles have nothing to gain. They are locked at 2. They can't be won. They can't.
True.
So this is another one of those games. But they just won with the backup quarterback. So the backup. So I'll say the Eagles.
And Saquon needs 100 yards to get to that record.
It's
So I have a feeling
101 yards.
I have a feeling they're going to play. They're going to want to. They're going to want to get it to him. They're going to want to get him that record, though.
Philly
if you're the coach, you risk your job. If he gets hurt and he can't play in the playoffs,
it's going to depend on what he wants to do. If he wants to hit the record, we're gonna go for it. And his O line, is going to want that record too.
If he gets hurt,
O line's going to want that record too.
I have watched Philly run over the Giants the past 3 years. They don't have to pass the ball a lot. Just run them over like they've been doing. I'm gonna take the Eagles in this game.
All right.
To win.
They should do 23 rushes in the first half and get Saquon
that's hella
out
funny.
by
yeah, no, they can do that. They can do that.
23, that's funny.
Jaguars at Colts. Another whoever cares.
God.
No, I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, no. Have fun for all the Colts fans that are there because it's the last game of the season.
Colts will win. They'll show out at home. Fine.
Yeah, I got Colts too.
Commanders at Cowboys Sunday.
I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. I'm taking the Cowboys at home.
Commanders are locked in. Don't matter what happens.
I
quite.
think they can change. No, I think they can go down a spot.
They can shake up their spot, right?
Yeah, but they're 11
I think they can go down a spot. Anyways, I have the Commanders.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in regardless.
Give me the Commanders, though. I'll take the other side of that.
You got Bears at Packers.
Green Bay is going to curb stomp the Bears.
They need this.
They don't want to They don't want to go into the playoffs on a losing streak.
Sure.
So they're going to go and just beat the hell out of the Bears just because that's what they like to do. It's their favorite thing to do.
And those swaps if they were to lose, and like the Commanders and Packers have the same record. So if they could flip flop and then you go to play a different team. So
if the Bears could forfeit, they should forfeit. Green Bay's going to win this game. Okay. Just saying.
Just pass the sticks for game starts.
Just.
I think Caleb Williams is actually going to be throwing the ball a lot. I mean, he's a few hundred yards away from having he already has the most as a rookie, but he having the most yards as for a Bears quarterback ever. That is actually in the realm of possibility this year.
Yeah, bro.
I don't think no Bears quarterback's ever thrown for 4,000 yards.
I think that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think he only needs like 3,600, which is like a 350 yard game.
Yeah, they don't throw the ball a lot.
So I think the Bears are going to be throwing the ball a whole bunch just for the record. But I think the Packers are going to destroy them.
Why not? Yeah. Next game. Now this is that Saints and Buccaneers game that matters for the Bucks.
It's a 13.5-point spread.
Yeah.
Saints aren't.
I feel bad for the Falcons because I'm going to say that the Bucks they're so much better than the Saints.
Yeah.
But there's just no possibility that the Atlanta gets in because the Bucks they probably won't beat them by 13.
Right.
That's a lot of points, but I don't think there's ever going to be a worry about the Bucks winning this game.
I mean,
I'm sure New Orleans will give an effort. It's a division game, but the Bucks.
Yeah, if we can win by 15, the Bucks definitely can. Bills Patriots Sunday.
That's another team that should probably forfeit. The Patriots.
I don't think did the Bills care though, because they
it's the Bills -3, but New England is so bad.
The Bills could sit. I mean, if you're a team that's going to sit players, I probably would
win.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They might get a half, like it's a preseason game, but there's no reason
I feel
to
the
really have
same
them
way
out there.
like I did about the Philly game. I just feel they're still going to win. Doesn't matter.
First of all, no one wants to play in the New England or in Buffalo at this time when they don't need to. I imagine they might, like you said, Glenn, they might get a half max, but they're trying to get their players out of there uninjured, not frostbite.
Right, we're trying to win.
It's gonna be 29 degrees at game time.
They got bigger goals.
Take the
bigger goals.
Yeah,
bigger goals. Next game, Chargers at Raiders. I'm going to this game. This is what I have scheduled right now. I want to see us compete. It'd be dope to get a win in there some kind of weird way. But I mean, if the Chargers play how the Chargers been playing, it's tough sledding. So it easily could be a L.
What do the Chargers have to gain by winning this game? Do they have to have a whole bunch of people lose ahead of them or something?
I don't think they can do anything where they're at.
I mean,
They could swap with the Steelers.
I can see the Raiders winning this game. I mean, I've seen how Jim Harbaugh coaches when his team already has a locked up a playoff spot. He's ultra conservative. I know Herbert threw for 38 times last season. He ain't doing that. Last game, he ain't doing
I would have to imagine that the Chargers are pretty motivated to win this game because if they get to the 5th seed, right? So we've said that the Bengals beat the Steelers, so they get a loss, which brings them to the 6th seed if the Chargers win. The Chargers either have to go play Baltimore or Houston.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's going to Houston.
Super important.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Because if it's you, the Chargers, you do not want to go to Baltimore. That's just a guaranteed loss. You're not doing that.
Not when the other option is Houston.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
So,
on the road.
Anyways, huge game. I'm going to say the Chargers are going to win.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you. Hey, bro, don't get it twisted. Like, I don't know what the scope could be. 49ers Cardinals on Sunday.
Cardinals. By a touchdown at least. Cardinals.
Both out.
Yeah, the refs. I don't care.
Yeah. All right, next game. AFC West, Chiefs at Broncos. I think the Broncos need this game.
Need to win. Yeah, I'm taking
They need this game, and I
have no problem taking the Broncos. No problem.
Well, you have no problem taking them knowing that they're favored by 9.5?
Favored by 10. I'm not saying they're going to cover the spread, but like I said, I've seen KC's backup play. I don't want no interest in that. I got
Carson Wentz? I think it's Carson Wentz.
It's Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him play before.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Denver to win this game because I think I think everyone must know what we don't, which is nobody's playing if they're going to favor Denver by 9.5 against the 15-win team. So
why even worry about it?
Find a way to win this game.
If you're the Chiefs, who cares, right? Seahawks at Rams. That's big for the Rams, right? Or no?
No, they're already in.
This is an important game for the Rams.
For seeding, right? Just seeding purposes?
Yeah, for seeding. And I'm gonna
I don't think the Rams could move.
No, the Rams can't move up.
Yeah, the Rams are where they're at.
They're locked in.
And their whole division is out. So
why wouldn't they? No, why if they lose, why wouldn't they go down to the 4th seed? And if the Tampa Bay wins.
Oh, you're talking about with Tampa.
Tampa's 9-7. They're going to win their game.
But don't they own the tiebreaker? The Rams are going to be.
They both be 10-7.
But don't they own the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay? I'm looking at it right now. I thought they owned the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well that's fair. Who y'all got to win it though?
Seattle.
Oh, Seattle over the Rams, huh?
Yeah, because I think they own the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. I'm about to look it up right now. The tiebreaker.
Cool. Yeah, look it up. B, what do you think?
I was actually going to take Seattle too. I just think it's unless they get Cooper Kupp doing what he needs to do. I don't think the Rams are equipped to beat good teams right now, and the Seahawks, while eliminated, are not a bad team. So, but yeah, I'll take the Seahawks, and the fact that they're favored on the road in LA is important.
Okay.
So, have you been a chance to look it up?
Yeah, I was waiting to Coop. Otherwise,
I'm trying to look it up
now. We see it. All right, these other Dolphins at Jets. If y'all, I think we have a few shots on the games that we haven't drank before. Whoever's lost should have to watch this game.
What game is this?
The Dolphins at the Jets.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Brian's boy. I think he should watch that.
The whole game. Start kickoff to end with commercials.
Here's the thing. The only reason why I wouldn't mind it is because he's going to play just as bad as he's been playing all season long. And I have no problem watching him throw to the other team. But anyways, I'll take the Dolphins. Even in the NFL or even in Vegas is like, yeah, this game sucks. It's Miami -1.
Oh, you know what? I got it. Okay, so check this out. If the Buccaneers beat the Saints and the Rams, and they own the tiebreaker because of the conference record over the Rams, so it is an important game. Yeah.
So the Rams need to win.
Yeah. Yep. But the tiebreaker, they hold the conference tiebreaker, which would make Tampa the number 3
I'm still
seed.
taking Seattle. I didn't like the way they
Alright.
looked against Arizona. I'm still taking
Fair
it.
enough. All right.
I'm doing the same thing. I just think that it's a more important game, and you will see the best that you can out of the Rams. But I don't think they've got it right now, and I think the
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks, in spite of having lost, is a better team.
Yeah.
So this last game is the most probably, most exciting, most important. Vikings at Lions
They're
Sunday
saying that
night.
this is the most wins in a football game
Mhm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Easy.
In a regular season game. The 14-14, 28 wins in one game. This is the most ever.
Crazy.
It's Vikings
got?
on the road in Detroit.
Down the street in the
yeah.
dome, right?
Detroit -3. You get to go first, Jason.
I'm taking Minnesota. I just think the law of attrition with these injuries is going to catch up to Detroit. And Minnesota lost by 2 the first time they played. And I think they're actually going to, Minnesota's been playing well. I know I call them the cardiac kids. But they've still been winning games. And I think that Detroit loses the number 1 seed in this game. I think Minnesota wins.
Wow.
So they only lost to the Lions by 2 points last time. Same spread with the Packers. I'm gonna pick the Vikings and have faith in my team. This is by no means a guarantee, but I do think that somehow, some way, Kevin O'Connell has found a way. Sam Darnold has found a way that this team will be as up as they possibly can be for this game. So. And here's the problem: if they lose this game, they get seated in the top side of the bracket, and they get to play the Lions again if they win their first round matchup. So this is a really, really huge game because that would be playing at home is a big deal for the Vikings. So
yes, it is.
Hey, that Lions defense gave up a lot of damn yards today. 34.
Everybody's been scoring 30 against them except the Bears. That's the only team during this streak that just can't put up points against them.
They put up hella too, but they gave up a lot of points
they
today.
Be giving up,
and they were giving up wide open passes on them crossers all day today. Wide open passes. So we're gonna see. That should be a really good game.
I got Minnesota in this one.
I think I might be in the airport, but I'll get to see it.
You're just flying back right after? You're not gonna just hang out for the night?
No. I'm gonna come back that night, but I think I can hit the sports book until my flight leaves.
Well, check this out. If you in there, can I send you some money? Place a bet for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, I'll get my money
if only
back.
He had a way of gambling.
I want to say, I don't. Yeah, for yes, and this is a fully whatever.
A couple $100. You know what I'm saying?
It's completely legal.
Yeah, that's where I was at. On
I know
cameras.
you were thinking it's completely legal.
All right. Yeah. So that's what's up there. And then, so real quick, man, because I think we're coming up on an hour. I was going to ask you guys, because we ain't talked about NBA. We don't care about the NBA. Anytime we talk about the NBA is how we don't like the NBA like we used to. What would the NBA have to do to get you back into watching? Because for a while, and when I say watching, I mean like we'd meet up to watch regular season games and go like, oh, let's go watch this game. Coop, we did it a few times last year. I'm not saying it was common, but it's even less now. I remember a while when I lived at Bryan, we watched every single Laker game, including watching it on the tablet because they didn't have the media. They didn't have their media deal signed up, right? So, but now you damn near have to pay me to watch a game. So what would have to change for you to get back to, and is it even possible?
So for me, it's not as bad as it is maybe for both of you. I tend to watch more basketball either when my fantasy football season is over, whether that's football season or not, or if the Lakers are playing well. They're kind of, all over the place. So I haven't quite gotten excited about this team. Although I am excited about Dalton Connect. And so I will watch more once the season starts. I'm not as out in the NBA. But I'm sick of refereeing in every sport, and the NBA has had a lot of problems with refereeing, and so there's a little bit of that. But if there was anything that would make me want to watch it more, it would be less games, because so many of these games are irrelevant, and the Lakers being competitive. Right, last season early on they were competing for the in-season tournament. This year they were not. I did not watch a single in-season tournament game. But last season I watched them all. I went to one.
Fair.
For me,
Cool.
it's number one. The Lakers have to be good. When the Lakers are good, I will watch every game. Okay, that's number one. Number two, which I don't think is ever going to happen, um, defensive resistance. I just don't like that. There's just so many open layups. The guys just, I mean, don't even attempt to even try to block the shot. Or I'm not saying you got to hurt a guy, but damn, I mean, at least do something. I
Yeah.
don't like. I don't like. Look, I always say Curry is a great player. I don't take anything away from him, but I see him get 5 layups a game easy. And there's a guy over there. They just won't try to swipe at him on them because he's fear he's going to touch him or foul him or something like that. So it's nothing against any of these players, just that there's just no resistance at the rim. So that's another thing. Also, it's just too many damn teams. When you got too many teams and you got a whole bunch of players in there that, a lot of them shouldn't even be in the NBA. So you got more bad teams and more bad basketball. You got, like Detroit. Detroit's been bad. It seems like, for the last 10, 20, 15 years or so, 10, 15 years. They keep drafting the top three. They keep getting these players that are supposed to be good, and yet they keep drafting the top three every single year. So, I would say condense the teams and have the more talented players on these teams.
Oh,
And
they're adding teams, man.
games.
We got a team in Vegas coming soon enough.
Yeah, they're about to add a team. Yeah, and then go ahead.
I was just saying the Lakers are kind of competitive. They're 2 games out of being a 3rd or a 4th seed. It's just the way the West works. Right now they're the 7th seed, 18 and 13. But the all they have to do is have 2 more wins, and they are now the Houston Rockets are the 3 seed.
Yeah. I would like them to have more consistency, a little bit more consistency
sure.
though. And then I would say lastly, I mean, players to play. I mean, you can't really bet on NBA games anymore because you always have to check the injury report or who's playing like an hour and a half, 2 hours for the game starts. So you know who's in or who's out. It used to be guaranteed. I mean, look at a guy like John Stockton. Look how many games he played every year. 82 every year. He was always available. That helps. And when you don't know who's playing these games, like I've turned on TV and I've said, Bob, like, I thought so-and-so plays on this team. I see him with some fruity looking outfit on the bench. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want the guys to play. So it's like a few things, Brian and Glenn. And, I don't think we'll ever, get back to that again. So I'll just kind of watch sporadically in the playoffs like I've been doing, unless the Lakers are really good. That's my number one thing.
Good answers. All right. Word. All right. Well, let's wrap up our last couple segments. Game ball. B, Sunk, you gave yours. You already gave yours during the show to Burrow. Coop.
Oh, you know what? I don't even really have a game ball. Damn, I don't have a game ball.
Mine was just
that's crazy. Yeah, I don't have a game ball.
To Brock Bowers. I mean, enough said. Anybody who watches football knows what's happening. If you're not, you'll see why. Look that up. Hogwash. Anything that's
I got hogwash. Yeah,
hogwash
I told you what my hogwash was.
Go ahead.
When we were together, my hogwash is the NBA Coach of the Year award. That's a hogwash award. Pretty much, that's an award where you've coached a team that nobody had any expectations for. You played hard every game in the season. You strung together, 45, 50 wins and made the playoffs and got bounced in the first round. And then the next year, everybody was looking out for your team because you got all the hype you got the previous year. You don't make the playoffs again, and you go back to what you were before. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because Mike Brown.
Just called him man by name.
Got fired. And this is nothing against Mike Brown, but ever since, they went to the playoffs that year and played the Warriors the first round, the thing about Mike Brown, the reason why he always gets fired, well, maybe one of the reasons I believe, is because his teams get worse every year he coaches them. And Sacramento is just not, they're completely worse than they were last year and definitely the year before. So I'm just nothing against Mike Brown, it's just the Coach of the Year award. It's almost an award where if you look at all the Coach of the Years, look the next 2 years after, most of these guys get fired because they can't keep up, the same expectations. Or whatever, not even they can't meet the expectations after their team had a good season when they won the Coach of the Year award. So that's a BS award. So that's my hogwash.
Yeah, P.
All right. Yeah, mine is the NFL playoff seedings and how it happens, right? So right now, as the way this is going to work, the Vikings could conceivably have the best record of any team not to win their division ever in history, and get the 5th seed. And then travel to the 4th seed for the round 1, after which they have to go and play in Detroit against the 1 seed, against their division rival. They need to have reseeding. If they're going to do this thing where they're going to give the 4 playoff division winners a home game.
I think they should.
Like I said, totally understand that. I get that. But you should reseed afterwards, because why should the 5th seed or the 4th seed go to the 1 seed instead of the 6th or the 7th seed if they were to win. It should be reseeded. It would make it a little bit more parity. There should not be a penalty for having the second best record in the NFC and having to play the number 1 seed twice in 2 weeks, basically. Or 3 weeks.
Plus you could make better NFC or AFC championship games by reseeding.
Yeah, it should be reseed.
I hear you on that. I don't think they're going to do it because they tried to do that before, and the reason why is because the coaches feel if they win division, they should get a home playoff game. But I hear
they should. No, we agree with that. We're saying this after
should get the home playoff.
Reseed after. Oh, okay.
Reseed. Yeah.
Okay.
The reseed happens in the after round round 2.
Okay.
Look, one of the reasons they don't do it is because it makes it hard to scout. Like you're going to have people who are scouting the Vikings game for Detroit because they know they're going to play one of those two.
Yeah.
But I think they should do it. It would be a better product.
Yeah.
Because like you would rather see Detroit play, let's say, a Green Bay or the Vikings in the NFC Championship game,
right,
than having them play against an Atlanta team that gets the bottom of the bracket and comes up the other way.
Yeah. And real, I'm gonna do this real quick, 10 seconds. My hogwash is the Miami Hurricanes defense, giving up 42 points to Iowa State. Got to do better.
You could have stopped at the Miami Hurricanes, man.
Got to do better.
Cool. I didn't have one, so that works.
Oh,
see the ACC record in bowl games this week?
Well, ACC bowl game records usually not good every year.
Too.
Every year.
Damn.
Used to it. Yeah.
Last segment, minute to win it. I don't really have anything, man. Just have Happy New Year. Blessings for 2025 to be better than 2024 if yours wasn't the greatest, and on par if it was great. But I'm excited about a new year. I'll put it like that.
I'm same thing, Glenn. Just Happy New Year. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see what 2025 has.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm much on the same kick too. Happy New Year to everybody. 24 was supposed to be better than 23. It wasn't. 25 is supposed to be better than 24, but it's already looking like it won't be. But
That's hella funny.
But at least we're here, and rest in peace to President Carter, who recently passed away at the ripe age of 100.
Yep.
I'm rooting to get the same number as you, man. Rest in peace.
He was the first president to have the Super Bowl champs come to the White House.
He was also the first president to be born in a hospital.
Yeah, I heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Didn't know that. Okay.
So there you go. That's that's your minute to win it, and a little learning at the end, a little trivia point. It's December the 30th, 2024, and we will catch y'all next time. Thanks for listening.